Throughout history, certain figures have stood out not only for their inventions, but for their ability to reshape how humanity envisions the future. Among them, Nikola Tesla remains one of the most fascinating and complex. His story is not merely one of science, but of imagination, perseverance, and the struggle between genius and circumstance. To understand Tesla's legacy, it is essential to revisit the beginning of his journey, the early life and influences that shaped his mind and laid the foundation for his groundbreaking ideas. Nikola Tesla remains one of history's most fascinating yet paradoxical figures. To some, he was the quintessential mad genius, an eccentric inventor whose imagination leapt far beyond the boundaries of his age. To others, he was a visionary prophet of modern technology, whose contributions laid the foundation for the electrified world we inhabit today. Tesla's brilliance was undeniable. He pioneered the alternating current AC system that powers our cities, experimented with wireless transmission of energy, and speculated about technologies that foreshadowed radio, radar, and the internet. Yet, despite these groundbreaking achievements, Tesla died alone in 1943 in a New York hotel room, poor and largely forgotten by the public that once marveled at his demonstrations. The enigma of Tesla lies in the stark contrast between genius and obscurity, between world-changing ideas and personal tragedy. While contemporaries like Thomas Edison and Guglielmo Marconi secured financial empires and lasting fame, Tesla often struggled to translate his inventions into commercial success. His grand visions, such as a global wireless energy network, were too ambitious, too expensive, and too far ahead of their time for investors to support. Moreover, Tesla's eccentric personality and perfectionist tendencies often alienated potential backers, leaving many of his projects unfinished. Today, however, Tesla's legacy has undergone a remarkable revival. He has become a cultural icon, symbolizing innovation, independence, and the relentless pursuit of ideas. His name lives on not only in scientific history, but also in popular culture, and even in the electric car company that bears his name. Nikola Tesla was born at midnight on July 10, 1856, in the small village of Smiljan, part of the Austrian Empire at the time, modern-day Croatia. According to family lore, he entered the world during a violent thunderstorm, and the midwife considered this an ominous sign. His mother, Duca Mandich, however, declared that the lightning symbolized greatness. This almost mythic beginning foreshadowed the life of a man who would spend his career mastering the mysteries of electricity and light. Tesla's family background provided him with a unique foundation for creativity. His father, Milutin Tesla, was a Serbian Orthodox priest who also wrote poetry and valued language and logic. His mother, though illiterate, was a remarkable inventor in her own right. She devised household tools, mechanical devices, and even small appliances to make daily tasks easier. Tesla later credited her ingenuity as his first true inspiration, remarking that she possessed the inventive spirit in its purest form. From an early age, Tesla displayed extraordinary mental abilities. He had a photographic memory, could recite entire books, and mastered several languages, including Serbo-Croatian, German, French, and English. More importantly, he possessed a powerful visual imagination. Instead of sketching or building models, Tesla claimed he could construct entire machines in his mind, test them in operation, and detect flaws without ever lifting a tool. This ability, known as visualization, became a hallmark of his inventive process. Despite his gifts, Tesla's childhood was not without hardship. He suffered from frequent illnesses and intense visions, which modern scholars sometimes interpret as symptoms of neurological sensitivity. These experiences, however, deepened his fascination with energy and the hidden forces of nature. By the time he reached adolescence, Tesla was already dreaming of harnessing the power of the natural world, not just for science, but for the benefit of humanity. In 1875, Nikola Tesla enrolled at the Austrian Polytechnic School in Graz, where he began formal studies in engineering. At first, he impressed his professors with his diligence, often studying late into the night and earning top marks. One professor even remarked that Tesla's potential was so great that he might surpass all his peers. Tesla's obsession, however, quickly grew into something more than academic pursuit. It became a consuming passion. He studied not only assigned texts, but also advanced works in physics and mathematics, driven by a desire to uncover new principles of electricity. It was during his university years that Tesla first encountered the concept of alternating current, AC. At the time, direct current, DC, systems dominated electrical engineering, and many considered AC impractical. Yet Tesla was captivated by the idea of using alternating currents to transmit power efficiently over long distances. He began sketching designs for an AC motor, though these ideas existed mostly in his mind. Unfortunately, his studies were interrupted. After his father's death in 1879 and mounting financial pressures, Tesla left the university without completing his degree. Tesla's early career was a series of restless moves. He worked briefly as a draftsman in his hometown, then moved to Budapest in 1881, where he found employment at a telegraph company. There, he gained practical experience with electrical equipment and developed his first major invention, an improved telephone repeater device that hinted at the principles of amplification later used in radio. In 1882, while walking in a park in Budapest, Tesla experienced a sudden vision of a rotating magnetic field, a principle that would become the foundation of the AC induction motor. By 1884, Tesla's talents had carried him to Paris, where he worked for the Continental Edison Company. Yet his ambitions stretched further. With dreams of meeting Thomas Edison and bringing his ideas to life, Tesla prepared to cross the Atlantic and begin a new chapter in America. In June 1884, Nikola Tesla arrived in New York City with little more than a letter of introduction to Thomas Edison and a few cents in his pocket. Despite his poverty, Tesla carried with him a wealth of knowledge and ambitious ideas about electricity. Soon after, he was hired by Edison's company to work on improving direct current, DC systems, which Edison was determined to promote as the standard for electric power distribution. Tesla impressed his colleagues with his tireless work ethic and brilliant problem-solving skills. He reportedly worked long hours redesigning Edison's generators, making them more efficient and reliable. According to one famous anecdote, Edison allegedly promised Tesla a reward of $50,000 if he could redesign the company's inefficient dynamos. Tesla succeeded, but when he asked for payment, Edison laughed and told him, "You don't understand our American humor." The incident left Tesla feeling betrayed and disillusioned. Beyond financial disputes, Tesla's deeper conflict with Edison was ideological. Edison championed DC power, while Tesla believed alternating current, AC, was the future. AC could travel long distances with less energy loss, making it ideal for electrifying cities and industries. Edison, however, was unwilling to abandon his investments in DC systems. After less than 2 years, Tesla left Edison's company. He soon faced hardship, working as a manual laborer to survive. Yet his faith in AC power never wavered. This period of struggle would set the stage for one of the greatest rivalries in the history of science, the War of Currents. After leaving Edison's company, Tesla's fortune shifted when he attracted the attention of investors who helped him establish the Tesla Electric Company in 1887. There, he finally built a working prototype of his alternating current, AC induction motor, based on the principle of the rotating magnetic field he had envisioned years earlier. This invention was revolutionary. It provided a practical way to use AC power for industrial and household applications. In 1888, Tesla's work came to the attention of George Westinghouse, a wealthy inventor and entrepreneur who recognized AC's potential. Westinghouse purchased Tesla's patents and offered him financial backing, as well as the opportunity to bring AC power into widespread use. Their partnership marked the beginning of the famous War of Currents, a fierce battle between Edison's DC systems and Westinghouse Tesla's AC systems. Edison launched aggressive campaigns against AC, warning of its dangers and even staging public demonstrations where animals were electrocuted to show its supposed risks. Despite these tactics, the technical advantages of AC, its efficiency in transmitting electricity over long distances, soon became undeniable. The climax came in 1893 when Westinghouse, with Tesla's technology, won the contract to illuminate the world's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. Millions witnessed the fair's dazzling display of electric lights powered by AC, a moment that symbolized the triumph of Tesla's vision. Shortly afterward, Tesla and Westinghouse secured another historic victory: the contract to build the first large-scale AC power plant at Niagara Falls, cementing AC as the foundation of modern electrical systems. With the triumph of alternating current, Tesla's reputation as a visionary inventor soared. Yet, rather than resting on his success, he turned his restless mind toward new frontiers. During the 1890s, Tesla explored a wide range of inventions that extended far beyond electricity and power distribution. One of his most remarkable demonstrations was wireless communication. Years before Guglielmo Marconi became associated with the invention of radio, Tesla had already designed and patented systems for wireless transmission. In 1893, at public lectures, he demonstrated how electromagnetic waves could be used to send signals without wires, astonishing audiences who witnessed lamps and devices powered through the air. Tesla envisioned a world where information and energy could be transmitted wirelessly across great distances, an idea that foreshadowed modern telecommunications, Wi-Fi, and even satellite systems. Tesla also worked on high-frequency oscillators and experimented with what later became known as X-rays. Using specially designed vacuum tubes, he produced images that revealed the internal structure of objects, preceding some of Wilhelm Röntgen's discoveries. Although Tesla did not fully pursue medical applications, his experiments highlighted his uncanny ability to anticipate scientific breakthroughs. Another invention was the Tesla coil, created in 1891. This resonant transformer could produce dramatic electrical discharges and remains one of his most iconic creations. Beyond its spectacular lightning-like arcs, the Tesla coil was a vital step toward wireless power transmission and laid the groundwork for many later experiments in radio and high-voltage engineering. By the end of the decade, Tesla was seen not only as Edison's rival, but as a futuristic thinker whose ideas spanned electricity, communication, and physics. His fame grew, but so did the scale of his ambitions. The next chapter of his life would see him attempting to build nothing less than a global wireless energy system. At the turn of the 20th century, Nikola Tesla embarked on what would become the most ambitious and ultimately tragic project of his career: the Wardenclyffe Tower. Funded initially by financier J.P. Morgan, the project was conceived as a massive wireless transmission station that would broadcast not only messages, news, and images across the globe, but also electrical power without the need for wires. Tesla envisioned a world where energy was as freely available as air, with entire cities powered wirelessly and ships at sea receiving electricity directly from the atmosphere. Construction began in 1901 at Shoreham, Long Island. The Wardenclyffe Tower, rising nearly 200 feet with a giant copper dome, became a symbol of Tesla's audacious vision. He poured his resources, creativity, and relentless energy into the project, convinced it would revolutionize human civilization. For Tesla, Wardenclyffe was not simply an invention but a humanitarian mission. He dreamed of providing free, limitless energy to all people, regardless of wealth or geography. However, practical and financial realities soon caught up with him. J.P. Morgan, initially intrigued, began to lose interest once it became clear that Tesla's system would not generate profit in the traditional sense. Investors wanted returns, not a utopian promise of free energy. As costs spiraled and Tesla's explanations grew increasingly abstract, funding dried up. By 1905, construction halted and the project languished. Wardenclyffe Tower became a haunting reminder of Tesla's greatest dream and greatest disappointment. It symbolized the tension between visionary science and the demands of industrial capitalism. Though the tower was never completed, the ideas behind it foreshadowed later advances in radio, wireless communication, and global networking, proving once again that Tesla's imagination was decades ahead of his time. After the collapse of the Wardenclyffe Tower project, Nikola Tesla's life took a difficult turn. His reputation as a brilliant inventor remained, but without steady financial backing, he found it increasingly hard to translate his ideas into working projects. The world of science and industry was shifting, and Tesla, once at the center of innovation, gradually began to drift to its margins. In the 1910s, Tesla continued to experiment with high-voltage electricity, wireless transmission, and mechanical oscillators, but many of his inventions failed to secure commercial interest. At the same time, his outspoken predictions, such as wireless energy powering entire continents or machines that could end warfare by destroying fleets at a distance, made him seem eccentric in the eyes of the public and press. Despite these struggles, Tesla achieved some recognition. In 1917, he was awarded the prestigious Edison Medal by the American Institute of Electrical Engineers, one of the highest honors in his field. Ironically, the medal bore the name of his old rival, but Tesla accepted it with dignity. He also continued to publish articles and give lectures, though his audience had dwindled compared to his earlier fame. Financial difficulties became more severe. Tesla lived in a succession of New York hotels, often leaving behind unpaid bills. He relied on occasional support from friends and admirers, but his lifestyle grew increasingly solitary. He spent long hours feeding pigeons in city parks, developing a peculiar affection for them, which became one of his few emotional comforts. As the 1920s and 1930s unfolded, Tesla's image shifted from that of a pioneering genius to a somewhat forgotten figure, remembered only by dedicated followers. Newspapers occasionally covered his bold, futuristic claims, such as death rays or wireless power grids, but these were usually treated more as curiosities than serious science. Meanwhile, younger inventors and corporations took the spotlight, building on foundations Tesla had helped create, yet leaving him behind. By the end of the 1930s, Tesla was living in near poverty and obscurity. The man who had once illuminated the World's Fair and helped electrify the modern age was now an isolated visionary, sustained more by his dreams than by recognition or resources. In his final decade, Nikola Tesla lived in obscurity, a sharp contrast to the fame and admiration he once enjoyed. Residing at the New Yorker Hotel, Tesla's life was marked by solitude, eccentric routines, and fragile health. Though he remained mentally active, constantly sketching new inventions and entertaining grand ideas, his financial condition was dire. He survived largely on meager pensions and occasional support from friends, admirers, and even the government of Yugoslavia, which honored him as a national hero. Tesla's interest during this period grew increasingly unusual. He spoke of developing a death ray, a particle beam weapon that could supposedly destroy armies or aircraft at a distance. While no working prototype was ever demonstrated, the concept captured public imagination, leading to both fascination and skepticism. Some government officials even inquired into Tesla's ideas, particularly as World War II intensified, but his proposals never advanced into practical military technology. Despite his isolation, Tesla received recognition from abroad. In 1937, he was awarded the Order of the White Eagle by the King of Yugoslavia, a gesture that deeply moved him. Still, these honors did little to alleviate his loneliness or restore his position in the scientific community. His health continued to decline, and he increasingly retreated into the private world of his hotel room, venturing out mainly to feed pigeons, creatures he felt a deep, almost spiritual connection with. On January 7, 1943, Nikola Tesla passed away alone in his hotel room at the age of 86. News of his death spread quickly, sparking renewed interest in his life's work. Though he died impoverished and overlooked, Tesla's genius and legacy could not be erased. In time, the world would come to recognize him as one of the most visionary inventors in history. Nikola Tesla's legacy extends far beyond the struggles and obscurity that marked his final years. Though he died nearly forgotten, history has restored him to his rightful place as one of the greatest visionaries of science and technology. His pioneering work with alternating current laid the foundation for the global power systems we still rely on today. Innovations in radio, wireless transmission, remote control, and electrical engineering bear the imprint of Tesla's genius, even if others claim the credit during his lifetime. More than his inventions, Tesla's influence lies in his imagination. He dared to dream of a world connected by invisible currents of energy and information, concepts that foreshadowed wireless communication, the internet, and renewable energy grids. His vision of free, limitless power for all remains a source of inspiration for scientists, futurists, and dreamers striving to make energy more accessible and sustainable. Culturally, Tesla has become a symbol of the misunderstood genius, a man ahead of his time, whose ideas outpace the world's readiness to embrace them. From films and books to companies that bear his name, Tesla's story resonates with those who believe innovation should serve humanity rather than profit alone. Today, his name stands as a beacon for creativity, persistence, and visionary thinking. Despite the hardships he endured, Nikola Tesla left a lasting mark on both technology and culture. He reminds us that true genius often lies not only in invention, but in the courage to imagine the impossible.